can't believe I just had to say animated conception on the internet. Hey y'all, it's Megan. If you're returning to my channel, welcome back, and if you're new, welcome aboard. So today we are returning to one of my very favorite things in the entire world, which is weird Disney attractions. So because it is my birthday month, we're gonna stay a little on theme here, and we are gonna be talking about the weirdest film, attraction, thing that used to be at EPCOT. That is The Making of Me. It was a 15-minute long film about conception and birth. Yes, that's as weird as you think it is. It was in the Wonders of Life Pavilion from October of 1989 up through January of 2007 when the entire Wonders of Life Pavilion closed. So, Wonders of Life Pavilion, I'm sure you've seen it, even if you don't remember it. It's the big gold dome that lives kind of between where Guardians of the Galaxy is now and Mission Space. So that's what that thing is back there. There's rumors that it's going to become the Play Pavilion at some point. That's been a thing that they've been saying for like 4 or 5 years now, and it's on hold indefinitely, I think, right now. So who knows if that's coming, but it was also used a lot of times for festivals, and there would be like festival information and stuff in there. But that's the Wonders of Life Pavilion, and that is where this attraction used to live. It actually lived like kind of right in the middle of the floor. Here's a picture of the map here. You can see that is called the Birth Theater. They just like full send on this whole conception and birth thing. This amazing piece of cinematography was created and directed by Glenn Gordon Caron, I believe is how it's pronounced. But you may know his other work that's a little bit more famous. He worked on Moonlighting with Bruce Willis and Meaghan with Patricia Arquette. So those are some of the big ones that you would recognize his work from. But he also made this outstanding piece that you may or may not have seen during its, what is that, 18-year run. Oh, it made it to 18. It was legal. Oh, stop. Martin Short is starring in this film in a couple of roles. He plays himself, but he also plays his dad. And the central question that they're trying to answer is, where did I come from and how did I get here? Which I think is a pretty normal thing, you know. That's what people want to know as they're growing up. They want to know, like, how did I get here? How did I get in mommy's tummy? That kind of thing. So, Tiny, would you quit? She is dragging a picture frame with her little teeth. That's a pretty normal question that kids are going to have as they are getting older. I don't know, what is it, bless you. Parents of youngsters, at what age do they start asking these kinds of awkward questions? Like, I feel like maybe like 5 or 6, they get like the initial, where did I come from? And is that when you usually say like mommy's tummy and then like push the questions off for later? Like, I don't know. I have cats and a dog, so like I'm not the one to ask these questions. The storyline, such as it is, opens up with Martin Short standing in a labor and delivery ward of a hospital, and he says, "That's my dad," and points to a newborn baby. And so then we follow this baby through his life. We see him grow up, we see him meet girls who are not Martin Short's mom, goes on dates, and then we see them get together. There's a whole awkward high school dance moment that goes on for kind of a while, like a few minutes. So they go to the high school dance, then they get married, there's a honeymoon, then there's looking at picture albums and like doing all the things, and Martin Short's going, you still don't want to have me? You're still having fun with no kids? And they're just going, So he's talking to them, but he's not really there. It's very Back to the Future-y, but you know, Martin Short was able to like not date his mom, so that was good. We go through Marty's parents' lives. We go through Martin Short's parents' lives up until they need a little privacy. And at that point is when Martin gives us the science lesson, sitting on the roof of his house while his parents are doing any assortment of euphemisms that Disney used so that they could avoid one 3-letter word. They used some phrases that, my least favorite phrase in the history of the universe is baby making. But they talked about the baby making equipment, and complete with a chalkboard anatomy lesson. So Martin Short's sitting on the roof and he is saying that they need some privacy, and you know, basically says, "What, mommy and daddy love each other very much," and they hug and kiss, and sometimes they do a little bit more. He does use actual anatomical verbiage, but they're avoiding that one 3-letter word, like the plague. But they said egg and sperm, and that was fine. And then we got the most adorable little animated conception. I can't believe I just had to say animated conception on the internet. But there was an animation sequence where you see the big race, as they called it, and all these little swimmers are just hauling to get to what looks like a chicken egg with a ponytail, and she's got some like va-va-voom music happening, and she's sitting in her, I'm gonna try to get pictures, she's sitting in like a little egg cup, and I wish to goodness, oh, I wish I was making this up, she holds up like a little apron with a bullseye on it for the sperm to target. So yeah, that's a thing that they showed at a Disney park. And then from that you have a baby. Yay, there's a baby. So it doesn't say a lot. It doesn't say nothing. I feel like it's funnier if you actually know everything and you're seeing this with like hindsight and you're like, oh yeah, that's an interesting way to put that. I never thought about it in those particular terms, or with a ponytail. Having not looked at it through the lens of a small child who doesn't know what it's actually trying to convey, I don't know how effective it was. I don't know if it answered questions and like appeased children's curiosity. I don't know if it made more questions and more awkward conversations for parents. That's why there was the warning outside of the birth theater that said, just so you know, this is what this is. I'm not sure how you could misconstrue what it is when it's in something called the birth theater, but you know, they did put the warning up because this is still a family park after all. The last like 3 minutes is the actual like baby, like birth kind of situation. They show pregnancy and how the fetus changes, and then there's a baby, and yay, Martin Short has been born. Like I said, I don't know how effective this was. It lasted for 18 years, so apparently someone was watching it. If someone wasn't me. Did you watch this? Please tell me. Was it as weird as it seems like it was? Because it seems real weird, y'all. Seems real weird. Even though this isn't a normal Disney history and trivia video, I do want to throw in a couple of things about the actors, the people involved in the production. Martin Short basically is the main character. You know Martin Short, Only Murders in the Building, Father of the Bride, one of the Santa Claus movies, I think. Everything. He's been in a ton of stuff. You know Martin Short. Oh Canada. When this shut down, that was when Oh Canada opened up in the theater in the Round. Is that what the one in Canada's called? The Canada Pavilion at EPCOT. He went over there and had that film as well. If you're a little bit older, you may also recognize Mary Beth McDonough. She was Erin Walton in the Waltons for 8,000 episodes of that. So she is also in this. She's the mom. So you may recognize her. And one person that you're not going to see, but was very much involved, was Andrew Stanton. And if that name sounds familiar, you've probably seen it on basically every Pixar movie. He's worked on all of them. He did some directing, did a lot of art direction. He's done a lot of work with Pixar, but this was his first animation credit, and he was responsible for those little swimmers. Yes, Andrew Stanton's first animation job with the Walt Disney Company was animated sperm. You're welcome. So that's it. I am sweating profusely from the awkwardness of this conversation, but I feel like this really fits in Weird Disney, and since it is coming up on the week of my birthday, I was like, what better time to talk about this, the most awkward of Weird Disney attractions to have ever existed. What do you think about this attraction? Did you see it? Would you have seen it? If you were a parent, would that be like helpful? Would it be awkward? Let me know your opinions, your ideas down below, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, y'all. What are you doing? She had this, my senior year photo album, and she was dragging it by its corner across the floor. It weighs almost as much as she does. Why were you doing that? Say bye.